This is how PR professionals manipulate the media, why it matters to businesses, and how you can do it too, even without a budget. And disclaimer, I'm not encouraging such naughty behavior, but this is what's going on. You know, a lot of marketers and entrepreneurs on Twitter will tell you PR, public relations, is dead and PR doesn't matter anymore. And this is a story that shares otherwise, but it's in a way that you won't expect. And it's also a really great search engine optimization lesson. It's a comment on a post on the entrepreneur subreddit. And the comment is it's really fire. The post was any tips on successfully leveraging PR to jumpstart a new company. And this guy shares this crazy story. And I said, I gotta share this with you. I gotta share this with you, the listeners. It's a really good one. It's from this guy, this user, ya boy Derek. That's his name. And Derek bringing the heat. This is it. How PR people are manipulating the media, why it matters, and how you can do it too. The comment goes, hey, I bootstrapped a B2B SaaS product in the fintech space, so I can weigh in a bit on the topic of PR. I personally come from an old school mentality that public relations is by far the best form of marketing you can do prior to launching more targeted campaigns. Getting your product's name to circulate in the right circles and generating brand awareness is crucial as an initial starting point. Now, don't get me wrong, ads and PPC is still a super valuable form of marketing in our industry, but I found that those work best after you've already gained some market recognition. Having said all this though, working with PR agencies has really been hit and miss for us. I've had a total of 3 companies and 1 independent contractor that we've worked with. 2 of those companies were absolutely atrocious. One of them didn't deliver any results for close to 2 months after signing with them. It took a very harshly worded email for them to actually start getting something done. That something ended up being a couple of articles on some no-name blogs and a sponsored ad on a tech-related YouTube channel that was past its prime. Overall, complete waste of money. And this is why a lot of marketers and entrepreneurs on Twitter will tell you that PR is a waste of money. And this poster continues, the independent contractor / ex-journalist we hired was okay. He kind of segued us into some strong publications at first, but then it really went downhill from there. I feel like he ended up leveraging all of the existing connections he had those first couple of weeks, and after that, he would have to scramble to deliver just a brand mention in a listicle. He did get us featured on Entrepreneur though, so I do have to give him credit for that. It wasn't a complete and utter flop like we've had before, but just not as worth the money. Out of the 3 agencies we've worked with, 1 did turn out to be pretty decent. It was ironically not even a tech-focused agency like the others we sought out. They simply gave us a spreadsheet with a ton of publications on it and told us to choose which outlets we wanted. They were kind of pricey, but I suppose the cost was warranted considering you only had to pay if the article got published. In the end, we picked up Forbes, GeekWire, NASDAQ, Fast Company, and a few others. They successfully delivered everything but the Fast Company feature, which they refunded us for. It was overall pretty cut and dry with a one-size-fits-all approach, but I kind of appreciated that. After being presented with a bunch of super detailed strategy plans tailored to our business that ultimately had a little to no results behind them, I seriously felt those other firms were placing 99% of their workload into brainstorming and creating aesthetic-looking PowerPoints with the remaining 1% going towards actual execution, which I think is common in the PR industry as a whole. By the way, that's common in the marketing. Just from my experience, having worked at big, huge marketing agencies, that is common in the marketing agency space as a whole. That's really the truth. So the post goes on, and this is where it gets good. As far as the results went, we saw a pretty massive boost of interest come in that lasted for maybe a couple of weeks or so. It was similar to running ads, but instead of the results arriving piecemeal over the course of a year, they arrived all at once and then slowly dissipated. Having said that though, we still get new leads every now and then that say they read about us and so, despite it already being more than a year. So I suppose old news still sells. And this is, by the way, this is why I say, this next part is why I say, I said this on a previous podcast, If you can already rank on Google, if you actually know some SEO, you have a superpower. And most people who can rank on Google don't realize it. They don't realize it, but it's okay. This is the rest of this post. However, our biggest, and if you don't know how to rank on Google, that's okay. I share everything on how to rank on Google on this podcast. I talk about it all the time on this daily podcast. So the post goes, however, our biggest net gain from these PR campaigns, these public relations campaigns, turned out to be something we weren't at all expecting. We were mainly doing PR to raise general brand awareness, sort of like an extension to our other marketing efforts. But what we noticed was that we began having a much easier time converting our incoming leads from our usual promotional activities that had no relation to our ongoing marketing campaigns. From leads gained at trade shows to our PPC/SEM, we started seeing a very significant increase in the ease with which we were closing contracts. The time we spent in the nurturing/consideration stage went down considerably. We were being prompted to present fewer case studies, answer fewer questions, do fewer exploration calls, etc. It's like our typical customer journey lost several of its crucial steps and just went straight from general awareness to conversion. After speaking to one of the clients we closed in a trade show, he actually revealed that they read all of the articles we had. And keep in mind, they didn't come to learn about us through the articles. They found us through the trade show. They just looked up our company on Google and were presented with all the articles we had from these brands that the PR agencies got us in. And even though they could have found the exact same information on our website in much greater quantities, the fact that it was coming from these other sources was like a cosign to them. It boosted our credibility in their eyes and was ultimately instrumental in their choice to work with us, considering very few of our competitors in our niche had more to present beyond their sites and LinkedIn pages. So in my book, this unforeseen benefit actually paid far more in dividends than the leads we gained in that initial burst of traffic. So to summarize my points, good public relations can be a fantastic investment, but actually working with PR agencies can be really hit or miss. Please don't make the same mistake as us and sign with firms that don't offer any sort of guarantees. Don't sign with firms that have no actionable plan besides some growth prediction models they've pulled out of their butt with some very generic marketing strategies. Try to stick with well-known or recommended PR providers and don't agree to any sort of long-term retainers until the agency has proven themselves. The last thing you want is to get stuck paying an obscene sum of money every month for mediocre results under the threat of a lawsuit. And last but not least, avoid any full-service providers that do PR, PPC, web development, social media, etc., all under one roof. Those that do everything specialize in nothing, and their results will reflect that. So that is this comment, a brilliant comment. I loved this. And right there, it explains. You pay PR companies, and then they have a nice thing said about you in the media. As far as I would concern, that is media manipulation. They are using their contacts to have nice things. You are paying to have nice things appear about you in the media. But can you do this yourself? You can. And this is how. You don't have to pay such obscene amounts of money to public relations companies. You can do this yourself. You might not always get the huge features that a PR company will get you, but you can still get yourself a lot of credibility this way. So this is a bit black hat, but this is what people are doing. This is how it's going. People are doing this for very little budgets. The easiest thing, they're using aliases, fake names with fake Twitter accounts or LinkedIn accounts. So that way, if you search the person's name, they have basically like a fake profile. So they look at least sort of real. And then these fake people are responding to journalist queries on Source of Sources, on Feature.com, on Quoted. These are platforms where journalists need a quote from an expert for their stories. And so they're asking questions and then experts are responding. And so these aliases, they are these fake experts and they respond when appropriate to journalists. And they say, because a journalist might say like, did you have any luck doing so-and-so, or what products were helpful? What services were helpful? Questions like this And the alias will respond, oh yeah, we had this issue that we were trying to solve. We tried a bunch of things that didn't work, and then we went with this product or service, got the job done. And these are big publications too. Source of Sources, for example. Source of Sources has on it BBC, Wall Street Journal, Forbes, NPR, New York Times, HubSpot. I mean, just has the biggest publications in the world have journalists on Source of Sources asking for experts. And so these fake experts will respond and they'll tell the journalists what the journalists want to hear and then name drop their own companies, which they are an alias for. And what happens is people Google the brand name, and then these expert quotes in these top publications, or even if they're not top publications, there's any publications, they come up and they're saying that the brand worked really well. And so it's social proofing the company. Something else that people are doing is they are targeting keywords around your brand plus the word review. And then they will pay micro influencers to make videos on YouTube. And these people don't have a lot of views, so they're inexpensive. But just because they've made a bunch of videos in the past, their videos rank on Google. And so somebody searches the brand name plus the word review, and one of these micro influencers who's inexpensive comes up saying, yeah, we worked with this product or we worked with this service and it gave us these great results. And that's something else that people are doing. Then there's Parasite SEO. This also is very common. Anonymous accounts in Reddit will comment on high-performing posts. High-performing posts are what gets indexed in Google and what shows in Google. So anonymous accounts will comment in these high-performing posts in relevant ones, buy upvotes to their comment, so their comment is at the top, not link out to the product or service, because you have problems when you actually link out to the product or service. That's when comments are more likely to be automatically removed, or when moderators are more likely to step in and remove that comment. So it will just be a plain text comment, no link, saying the same thing that everyone else was saying in the previous strategies. Oh yeah, we worked with this product or service, it gave us these great results. And that will be an anonymous Reddit account that's doing that. And this Reddit strategy is being done in independent forums as well, because independent forums, they're not ranking as well as they used to, but some of them still rank pretty well. Some of them still rank on Google pretty well. It's all about having that social proof for when people are interested in your brand and then they turn to Google and they want to find that social proof. And then the last thing that people are doing, people are creating these review properties that all they do is review stuff on, and it's stuff in the brand's niche. And they review stuff on YouTube or on Medium. And it's a faceless account on YouTube, or it's an anonymous account on Medium. And then they will put up short, easy videos on YouTube or write very quick posts on Medium. Do that for a couple of months so it looks like this is actually an ongoing account, like a real thing. And then when it comes time to review the brand, they will make a real video reviewing their own brand anonymously. The description will be 50 to 100 words. That's it. They're targeting those keywords that I mentioned before. Brand name plus review. Same thing for Medium, except the Medium post has to be several hundred words to increase the likelihood of it being indexed by Google. And then with Reddit, when these anonymous accounts leave comments on Reddit, that's around 100 words, and that increases the likelihood of everything being indexed. And that's what people are doing. PR agencies are getting paid to manipulate the media for their clients, and then some people are just doing it themselves for very little money. But I like this story because just so many people will say PR doesn't matter, but they don't. And the initial burst isn't a great investment. The initial burst of traffic that you get from good PR isn't a great investment. But the long tail effects of PR, that's where it gets crazy. It makes everything smoother, like this person said. I'm going to finish by rereading this paragraph. From leads gained at trade shows to our PPC/SEM, we started seeing a very significant increase in the ease with which we were closing contracts. The time we spent in the nurturing/consideration stage went down considerably. We were being prompted to present fewer case studies, answer fewer questions, do fewer exploration calls, etc. It's like the typical customer journey lost several of its crucial steps. and went straight from general awareness to conversion. This is episode 648 of my daily digital marketing show, 648 days in a row doing this podcast. Can you believe that? That is so many days in a row. 648. Thank you so much for watching. If you watch this on YouTube, if you listened on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, thank you so much for listening. Hope you find this show valuable. If you do, feel free to share it with some colleagues or with some friends. And that is all I got for you. I will talk to you again tomorrow. Bye now.